Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Riverdale, Season 7, Episode 12.
Chapter 129, After the Fall.
And we think they're calling it that because of the car crash?
I would imagine.
Okay. In typical Riverdale fashion, the car crash happened entirely off screen and was dealt with by the time we rejoined this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so much so that, like, Reggie was like, whew, it's a good thing I survived that car crash.
Yeah. Actually, he kind of wishes he hadn't.
I don't know that I have a lot to say about this episode, and I mean that in a good way, because as opposed to Riverdale, in my opinion, especially when we got into like seasons 4 and 5, fell into that Glee sort of conundrum where it was like every third episode makes sense, kind of, or there was just sort of sensational plot after sensational plot, and it's like after 3 episodes, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. And
this is just so much more rewarding because it's all just building off of what we had before, and it's a slow burn.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just so invested, and it just feels so right, and it feels so good to finally be giving all of these characters, and in some cases, the actors, what they deserve.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how invested and committed I am to this Archie and Reggie plot.
It's amazing. And then I mean, all of the time, because they're so great together, but starting in earnest in this episode, Betty and Veronica.
Absolutely. But I just, we have always liked the idea of Reggie.
Oh, this is the most that I've enjoyed Reggie ever.
He's just, I love an ensemble. But they are tricky. And this was a show that had a lot of toys to play with. Mm-hmm. And it ended with it resulted in people getting shafted. Usually Reggie. Usually,
Cheryl.
Cheryl, I think, got a lot. It wasn't necessarily good plot, but she always had
But it was doing the Glee thing you were talking about, where it was like any given episode, she's like a schizophrenic. It's
but she's that like Edie Britt sort of like fifth lead that always had stuff. It's just I think Reggie was so frequently saddled with being an antagonist.
Sure.
And they were trying to have it both ways. Mm-hmm. And now they're just actually I think I said this like 3 weeks ago, but it's like, it's sort of a love letter to Charles and KJ's bromance.
Yeah.
Like they finally allowed that. I think they're letting they're looking at what they have, and they're like, okay, we've got 1 season left. What are there wrongs we want to right? Like, what do we want to do? And it's just, it doesn't feel redundant to me. It genuinely feels like it's building off of the previous week.
Well, yeah, they've never been friends before. And that's the other thing too, is the consistency of the season. Well, they've
said that they were, but it's never the footage not found.
But that's the thing. It's the consistency of this season that's so impressive, because in addition to Reggie, I would say that this is the most consistency that Ethel has ever been treated with as well.
Absolutely. This is also the most I've liked Jughead.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that,
he has a goal.
Well, yeah, it's focused. Yeah. It's honed. And it's like, he is, unfortunately or fortunately, depending, kind of off doing his own thing.
Yeah.
But I'm preferring that, at least at this moment.
I agree. And it's only because, like, Archie, I think in the last episode said that he was, like, when he and Reggie were talking about it, or he and someone were talking about him having or being friends with Jughead. And so they haven't had, like, a falling out or anything. But also, it doesn't make sense for Jughead to be hanging around while Archie is so immersed in the sportsy parts of this. So it totally checks out that Jughead is not in the mix.
He's a little bit, because he's a little bit of an oddity, or like he's a weirdo. Yeah. He's an outcast. He doesn't fit in. And so when you look at Archie and Betty and Veronica, they are 3 of the most, quintessential cool, popular Americana.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of negative that can go with that. But I also think that there's also a lot of positive. And to say the word Americana again, that's something that I actually really like. And because of current climates. It's not something that gets said a lot or that gets catered to a lot, but I like Riverdale kind of possessed it. It's similarly with the very first Captain America movie.
Oh,
where it has this sort of like rah, makes you want to eat a hot dog real bad.
Yeah.
And I like having that feeling because I don't ever really get to feel it.
It's like we're like having nostalgia for something we never experienced.
A little bit, but it's like, it's the American graffiti of it all. And I think putting Jughead off on his own, because he still interacts with them, but he's just not dragging them down. He was just such a bummer so frequently.
Well, I especially enjoyed when Jughead and Betty would go on their little, like...
That was fun, but...
sleuth adventures, but I agree with you. There have been definitely times when Jughead would be, like, just in the mix, and you're like, what are you even doing here? Like, they would be all making out with each other if you weren't here, and seemingly we're still not doing that.
And I don't know, I think this material has served him so much better, and it suits the characterization of all of these characters this season is on point.
Oh, yeah.
And to transition a little bit, but we got a date between Betty and Veronica.
Yeah. It was at least a sleepover.
And these are two characters that have spent a good deal of time together. But something about this, I had butterflies. Like, I was excited.
Well, it feels fresh because even though we know they know each other, they don't know each other very well in the 50s. And so it feels very fresh. Like they are able to kind of like unburden themselves to each other.
Kindred.
Yeah, for the first time again. And, and
they don't know it, but they are out of time.
Yeah. And so it's like just very nice, both of them being able to be like, I've always wanted to kiss a girl. And like,
I'm so curious where we're going because I've mentioned in our watch-alongs, if you want to watch along with us, we do it over at the Patreon, patreon.com/soimwatching the show at the $3 tier. We try to save a lot of it for this, but we talk during that too. And I've mentioned the TV show Sense8 a couple of times. I'm getting a Sense8 vibe about how they're all sort of connected and pansexual. And, it's gonna, I think there's going to be this Pleasantville awakening. That's what I feel like we're heading towards.
So.
And I'm curious what about that, for the purpose of the conversation, I'm just going to keep saying pansexual.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what that, because we're getting glimpses of pansexuality left and right.
Yeah.
And certainly flirtation.
At least bisexuality.
Yeah. And I'm curious if we're going somewhere specifically like if we're saying something about these characters' sexuality, or if that's more a residual of their modernity, like their modern minds.
If it's just going to be like the trigger that like.
Just modern young people are far more open to that. And so I'm wondering if that's going to sort of be, if the sexuality is going to be like Pleasantville, if it's going to be the thing that helps them break through this facade.
Well, I think, that's a potentiality. As much as I want it, I would never put money on Archie and Reggie kissing. Betty and Veronica, no problem. I don't think Archie and Reggie will kiss, even though they
should do something. I don't know that I think they should kiss.
I don't know. He did pick him up by the crotch like a baby at the end of this episode.
I don't know if I think they should kiss, but I think there should be something. I think the timing, the here and now, summer of 2023, the timing is right.
Yeah.
The back in time timing is right for lines to blur because back to Betty and Veronica, I don't know how much I think they are genuinely in love with each other as it is more a connection, like a soulmate,
Okay, I see what you're saying. However, I believe in my heart of hearts that this Betty and this Veronica could happily live the rest of their lives together.
I don't know.
I think.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Though, there was like a level of earnestness in the Pembroke scene where Betty was like, I wanted to kiss you. Like, you're the girl I've been thinking about kissing. And then Veronica was like, do you want to? And then they did. And there was like a level of earnestness there. And then the fact
I think it's more like skydiving, though. I don't think they're like, I think it's something that they want, that they're interested in, and that they would enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's what they're meant to be. Like, I don't think
didn't say that.
Okay.
I said they could happily live the rest of their lives together. I didn't say it's their ideal situation. I just think they could. And then
we're getting to a life in the day.
Yeah.
Place.
And then to further that, I think it was very telling that Betty was about to pick up the phone and call Veronica, and Veronica was already calling. And they both were just calling to say good night and I miss you.
And I love you.
And then they said, I love you. I'm just saying.
And to be juxtaposing that against this Reggie and Archie, even though it's not
wild.
The Reggie and Archie aren't behaving romantically, but the intimacy is there.
Archie proposed. That was a straight up proposal.
I don't know. I don't think I'm reaching.
I don't think you're reaching.
Like, I don't think you and me with our kiss, I don't think we're seeing something that's not there.
No.
Kiss.
It's there. It's for sure there. And at the very least, it is purposeful subtext.
I just feel vindication.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew the show was good. I knew I liked it. I knew these actors were good.
Oh, yeah.
I knew these writers were good.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I think everything has been an example of that. No. But I really... And even Mary's presence in this episode, it was so deliberate.
Yeah.
But in a very, like, so you know how so often when you're watching a show and you're like, I don't know, that doesn't feel right. Like, that doesn't feel like what should be happening. Everything they've done this season, I'm like, yes,
exactly,
this is exactly what I've been wanting.
So Mary Andrews gave what for to Alice and Hermione. And so Veronica's back in the Pembroke and Betty is back at home and Alice is her mom again. Although I feel like that's going to bite her in the end.
Oh, sure. But that alone, I think other shows, and I'll say lesser shows, would have reached a point with Medchinamic where they were like, we've lost you. We've run out of ideas. We're going to send you off. And this show was like, Betty and her mother is one of the cornerstones of the show.
Do you remember when they were breaking into Edgar Evernever's bunker with the guns and they were like Charlie's Angels in it?
And I just there's something about the fact that we're taking this victory lap to be like, but no, let's go back and examine this core relationship. And the way that they're treating Alice, because we've talked a lot about, you know, how we feel about Alice as a character, and we very largely like her. And it's happened with a couple characters. Reggie's also one of them, where it's like, they can be antagonists, they can't be villains.
100%.
And I like, that's where I am with Alice. She's an antagonist, but she's not a bad guy.
Yeah, sure. Because in this episode, she like readopted Ethel so that she could have a daughter again.
Also, and not for nothing, but there are just women. They're just piece of work women, like mothers who are like this is just a reality of life.
That's true.
And even the Ethel stuff, because when the show started kind of at the hype of Stranger Things and the whole Barb took the world by storm.
Yeah.
And so Shannon Purser came over to this show, and it was a little bit of a stunt when it happened.
Yeah.
And then they've kind of largely not handled her great.
Yeah.
And not that I think this is stellar work they're giving her.
No, but it's at least consistent again. Because it was like before, it was like she was on the outskirts of the group, and then she was like in the group, and then she was throwing milkshakes on
I think the show victimized
Veronica. Yeah.
her.
And then it was like, then she was like at the Sisters of Quiet Mercy with Betty, but she was like crazy in love with Jughead, and it like none of it added up to one character. It was like whenever they just needed like a tertiary character to come in
who's
to like
kind of a sad sack,
mix things up, it was Ethel. And I just like, I feel like that's not nice to Ethel, and it's not nice to Shannon Purser, who is cute as a button and doing everything she can.
I think she's just a fine actress, but this material is suiting her so much better than a lot of what we've seen.
Yeah. I think there's also something about Barb that resonates a little more than Ethel resonates. So it's like, because I think she's actually really excellent in season 1 of Stranger Things.
Barb was also a little bit of a blank slate.
Yeah.
Like, the less we knew about her, the more effective she was, because you could imprint.
Yeah.
But because I watched a really great video essay where they were comparing Chrissy to Barb, because they both had similar character arcs, and it was good. There's good writing on Stranger Things. It's a show that is subject to a certain amount of hype, and a lot of it is deserved.
Yeah, like a way.
It's a pretty good show.
It's a really good show.
I still cannot make heads or tails of this milkman plot. No clue.
No
clue.
Well, Ethel killed the milkman, and according to Sheriff Keller, it is an open and shut case. That's it.
Roving gang on PCP.
Yeah,
next.
It really is.
Next.
It's just a gang on PCP. But yeah, so then even the principal and Dr. Fieldstone are like, that's it. It was just a drifter who was reading too many comics.
You pointed out in our watch along, the principal seems like he's at least lucid, because he kind of like it's like Dr. Werther's.
Yeah. Oh, so I said Fieldstone. Well, Werther's, yeah.
Dr. Werther's is like steering, and there was one scene in particular this episode where he was kind of like, huh?
He seemed like he was starting to feel conflicted. So I'm very curious. I am, at this point, approaching this season as if there is nothing untoward. Like, there's not going to be, like, a mystical time shift or anything, because I can't keep trying to predict it. And at this point...
I mean, I think there is going to be, but I don't...
At this point, we only have 8 episodes of the season left. If that person that said 20 was correct, then there's only 8 episodes left. So... I don't know.
The sadness I feel.
Yeah. I feel like we're ramping up to the point of no return, where if they don't do the time jump, I think this is just going to be the season, which is fine, especially if they keep doing musical numbers like Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair with Kevin and Clay and Betty and Veronica.
It was just so much. It wasn't as leaden or clunky as some of their other musical numbers.
And I think Lily Reinhart has been taking voice lessons, because she already sang beautifully, and this was like, it felt like on another level.
Yeah, I could sing. I'm so pleased that they're focusing on these relationships this way. I'm also still, this was sort of a in-between plot for Cheryl.
Yeah.
She was very devoted to Julian.
Odd.
Footage not found.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I still can't understand why we're even doing Julian.
Because his only purpose in this episode was to give Clifford leverage to get Reggie off the team, but then Archie outmaneuvered Clifford and was like, well,
Which is an Archie special.
It kind of is, actually. And he was like, well, I'm going to quit the team if you don't make Reggie captain and keep him, because they were trying to bring in K.O. Kelly, which, okay, but you should still bring in K.O. Kelly, but like keep Reggie. And so basically the whole team banded behind Reggie and was like, if you get rid of Reggie, we all walk, which is like kind of amazing. So
God bless you, Drew Ray Tanner, Fangs Fogarty. He's just here for the food, and I love it.
I'm obsessed.
He's standing where they tell him to stand and saying what they tell him to say.
What more do you need?
Because it's like, I've also been struggling with, I'm fine with Kevin and Clay. They are certainly cute.
Yeah.
And doing all the necessary things. But I loved Moose for several reasons, but also the
Kevin and Fang stuff was...
The absence of Moose for me is glaring, because Fangs is now with Midge, and that's like...
Yeah. Footage not found is the...
we need Moose in this twice over now.
Watchword of this season.
And it's like... But, no, the Julian, because it as I recall, because though we do this as a job, we're not good at our job. It's up for debate.
We're fine.
Julian was real. He was
the doll.
No, he was like a triplet.
But
correct?
he died in childhood or something, I think.
He either died or didn't she absorb him or something?
Something, but he was in, his spirit was in that doll at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last season, we did have Jason. We had Trevor Stein.
Yeah.
Because he said, "What's up, Jughead?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, he can't be that bad of an actor that we had to do. I mean,
No,
why would they keep Trevor around that long?
No, I'm sure there's an explanation.
And he's working. I follow him on
Yeah.
Instagram. And so, we're 12 episodes into a 20 episode season, and so far I still haven't the slightest. What is the deal with Julian?
No, but apparently Cheryl is equally devoted to him as she was to Jason.
And it's just not as good because, as you mentioned, they don't have the weird psychosexual chemistry.
Yeah, and also Julian sucks, like, as a person. Like, Julian's not a good person.
It's very strange.
Yeah. And also then...
But Madeline's doing a great job.
Clifford manhandled her in front of the fireplace, too, which was...
It'd been a while.
Yeah. It could have been longer.
I remember when we were recovering season 1 or 2,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, I have this theory, or you were like, Cheryl Blossom's basically having like a poorly monitored psychotic break.
For all of season 1, for sure. Yeah.
And we got a glimpse of that again in this. And also favorite of the show, Penelope Blossom, has been kind of all over the season, but hasn't done anything.
She's had very few lines.
That's not a problem. It's an observation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I truly, truly loved Archie and Reggie's material. I loved Betty and Veronica's material.
Yeah.
I really loved Mary's
Mhm.
material. And Jughead and Ethel.
Yeah.
They're working on a new comic where it's a mailman instead of a milkman.
And there's a big storm coming, apparently.
Yeah, as Reggie and Archie were...
Wrestling.
Which normally Betty would be watching, but she's too busy...
She's canoodling with Veronica.
Finger banging her girlfriend through the phone.
She's just simply not, though. She still hasn't gotten laid, and apparently she needs to start sniffing around Dilton Doily and his horse cock. Unbelievable.
They even brought him in. They tried that poor actor out. Just
like make eyes at Betty at the assembly.
Oh. I'm just having too much fun.
I know, it's amazing. It's so fun.
It's just too good. So I think we'll leave it at that. If we forgot anything, it'll probably surface, come up in the next episode.
Yep.
And I think we're back next week like usual.
Yep.
So
that's the only one with a date as of now so far, but they've been kind of trickling them out, so we'll see.
So, all right. Well, hopefully you had fun, and please let us know what you think. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Patreon, YouTube, Cashapp, Venmo, Instagram, all of that stuff. We're back with season 3 of Teen Wolf if you want to check that out. And
just started doing Gilmore Girls with Rachel. So season 1, keep that at the top of mind because we're having a lot of fun so far.
just be on the lookout.
Bye.